everyone. Welcome to the Evaluator, episode number 2. We are live here from our corporate headquarters in Castroville, Texas. My name is Doug Bland. I'm joined here with Terry Dickerson. Today's episode is going to do a little bit about negotiations and how it affects the equipment business. But we did have a caller send in a message regarding the FEMA trailers in our first episode, Terry. He was asking, a little bit more, to go in a little bit more depth about how something like that comes together.
Well, how it comes together, you got a government that don't know what they're doing. They bought brand new trailers to go down to a disaster because, the people didn't have anything where to live, but they didn't realize that when they did that, the water, the sewer, everything was out, the electricity, so they're down there with a travel trailer and could only go in places, very few places, because hurricane or whatever took the electricity and all that out. So they ended up buying trailers everywhere and paying, good money for them and all that. And if the people of the great United States of America knew what our government lost on the FEMA trailer deal, we could go fight Ukraine. I mean, not fight Ukraine, but join them and fight Russia. But the whole thing is the first block that was sold to a man in Louisiana, and instead of the government splitting it up amongst auction companies, they sold them in blocks of 20,000. Well, there was very few people that could go buy 20,000 trailers, even though the first bunch sold for $526 is what I understand. Can't verify that, but that's what I understand.
Per trailer.
Per trailer, yeah. And the man bought 20-something thousand. And then they sold the next block. And how we did that, how we got involved, was some boys out of Fairfield, Texas was involved with another man out of West Texas, and they would buy the whole big package, and then they would allot us, like we could buy them in lots of 50, 100, 150. And so we did. We bought them out of Columbia, Mississippi, Hope, Arkansas, and down by Opelousas, Louisiana. The Opelousas, Louisiana was the ones that were really a bit rough because some of them come out of the Fifth Ward in New Orleans, which is kind of the rougher part, and you'll be surprised what we found.
So once the government put those in place for the homeless, the people that were basically homeless because of the hurricane, they distributed them in different parts of the country after they were used?
Yeah,
okay.
They moved them to different areas. Like in Columbia, Mississippi, we went out to a ranch that was just sold to one of the senators at the time, was our understanding. And I can't verify all this. It's just what we hear. But anyway, long story short, we would go in, we would line up every day, and we would go in, and whatever you got to, that was your trailer. You didn't just get to pick this one. If you went in there and one of them was burned out in the inside and it was your turn, you had to take it. If you went in there and it was one like in Hope, Arkansas, we got some. We bought them for $18.50 a piece, and they had never been used. Still had plastic on the mattress.
Wow.
And,
so it was like a lottery almost.
Oh, no, you get in line, and as you pull in, that's the one you get. And so we, my brother, of course, we kind of.
You're talking about the infamous Louis Dickerson.
Yeah, he figured out a way. He carried enough Big Red and Moon pies down there in Mississippi that he ended up getting in to be buddies with the guys, and if they were bad trailers, they would call Louis, and Louis would pull our trucks out of line. So we kind of got caught on that, though. They said no pulling out of line anymore, but we did it for about 2 weeks.
So how many did you accumulate over that?
4,700.
4,700
They would pull them.
What a deal!
Louis would pull them 2 at a time, in our trucks. We'd hire people. Yeah, 2 at a time.
Nothing illegal about that, right?
No, it's legal. And we would bring them in, and we sold them to the to the oil workers, oil field people, and then we also sold them a lot of hunters, bought them and put them on their hunting leases and stuff like that.
So what did one of those things retail for?
Well, we would buy them for $18.50. We'd pull them in, figure about $600. That's $24.50. Clean them up, and believe it or not, my beautiful little wife, Pris Pot, she used to sell real estate and everything, but we decided to let her quit. And I'll never forget, every July, her birthday's July 27th, we'd got a bunch in, and she come out of a trailer from cleaning the trailer. Her and Kurt handled all that. She come out of that trailer with a T-shirt on, looked like a wet T-shirt contest, and a pair of Playtex gloves, sweat dripping down her. I said, don't you wish you stuck to selling houses? But, yeah.
She probably wish she would have found a different guy that didn't put her into that situation.
But she's doing okay now. But anyway, she was a big part of it. Louie, we used to have sales. I'll never forget we were in Canton, Texas. You know, we call her Bridezilla. Louie calls her Bridezilla. We were in Canton, Texas, and Louie, we had a little Massey Ferguson tractor, and they had those park models, or kind of like a small mini mobile home. He had it hooked up, and as they were pulling it, it was so heavy it'd make the tractor kind of raise up the front end. And he called, and I seen her calling her over, and the next thing I looked, he had her sitting on the hood to balance the weight out. And so you
didn't have a photo of that one.
Oh, huh? I know. She would. That would go good in Facebook or whatever y'all call it. Quick Instagram or LinkedIn or all this social media shit.
So you guys burnt through those. How long did it take you to auction all those?
17 months.
17 months.
4,717 months.
Wow. And did you do it from a central location, or would you go to those?
Yeah, we did some in Canton. We did that for some other people. After the people saw us do it and what they were doing and how we were doing it, we had calls from other people that bought them and said, look, we want to put some here, here, here. And we did. We had one sale in Weatherford. We had two sales in Canton. We had one in Tyler. So we had several. So we probably sold 7,000 or 8,000.
How did you market those to people?
Just basically, we did TV advertising back then, you know, and
because RVs are pretty common thing that people, like your average person, would want.
Yeah, well, you know, like I say, the oil field people were coming in and buying. I had one guy come in, and he tried to buy them all at one time, and I said, we already got them listed in the sale. He bought 50 out of 72 or 3 that day. You know? And all the individuals like, well, who the hell is this?
So did they consign them to you to auction off, or did
you
buy some
people did.
of them?
I bought 4,700.
Oh, you bought 4,700.
Yeah, and then we had, like I said, we sold 7,500, and they were consigned to us by different people.
What do you think the average one sold for?
$3,850.
You doubled your money.
No, we made about $1,400.
$1,400 a unit.
Yeah, it did pretty good, but it was. I just still think about all the people out there paying taxes every day, and you know, our government don't think things out. I don't care whether you're city, county, state, or federal. We need to start thinking like this is a business. This is just not reach and grab. And I'm sure there's some underhanded play goes on with it, but you know, people don't want to hear that nowadays, but it's the truth.
What do you think that did to the RV industry as a whole? Because, I mean, obviously it's not a matter of
they were pissed. All the RV guys were pissed. We're right down the road. They're trying to sell a plain Jane trailer for, you know, $15,000. We're selling it. One was steel plastic on a mattress for $4,500.
But what I'm saying is they had such an influx in sales that they never would have had before.
Yeah, they did. That was the factories, but like your dealers, your independent dealers. Now, FEMA did buy. We had one we called a Blue Belly they made, but then they had some with slide outs and all that, you know. So
that he used for like a compound and
stuff.
Yeah,
they would give up to $16,000, and these dealers would go around the dealers and say, hey, what do you got for $16,000? They said, this one. They said, we'll take it.
Interesting.
But the whole thing is, think about it. You have a national disaster. You have a hurricane come through New Orleans, and you've got all your electricity off. You got all your water and sewer contaminated and everything else, and you bring a travel trailer down there for a guy to live in. Where are you going, number one, hook up the electricity? Number two, where are you going to dump the sewer? Where are you going to get the water? And they had to go back and buy power plants, and it just wasn't a well thought.
I wonder if they have a plan now, because it's not a matter of if another Katrina is going to hit its wind.
Yeah, I think that they have, you know, they have probably worked on that, but to me, they never admitted, hey, we messed up.
Yeah, they were more
in
reaction mode.
They probably didn't care about Terry Dickerson down in Castroville, Texas, and probably still don't. But when you go to paying the type taxes that we have to pay and we have to charge people, it makes me think about when are we going to start running our country like a business, period.
So that catapulted machinery auctioneers and what it is today kind of got you guys with your foothold. And obviously negotiations are the kind of the title of our, podcast today. How did that negotiation aspect go for you guys when you were trying to get when you went through your first batch of them? You got to get some more of them because you saw how successful it was.
Well, we had some good partners. The guys that we dealt with, Lance Linderman up out of Fairfield, he was in the mobile home business. Mr. Johnny Bushman from West Texas was involved. I never dealt with Mr. Bushman, but a fine feller, really, really big man out in the middle of the Odessa area. But Lance is the one we dealt with, and Lance would always work with us, and he understood it. He was one of those guys, understood to get more business, you got to let the guy make money. That's just like us. When we sell something, we want you to make money on it. We want you to do good with it. We don't want you to just gouge your eyes out. And right now, I mean, every time I sell something, I feel like I'm gouging people's eyes out. But you know what? It's because there's nothing there. Eggs used to be $2, $3 a dozen. Hell, they're $10. And what gets me, I don't think there's been no chicken epidemic. I don't know.
Yeah, there has. There's been some kind of a bird flu thing that's
killed chicken.
Oh yeah.
Oh hell, that's just the government again.
So what's your philosophy on negotiations? When you go into a deal, do you already have it in your mind, kind of where you want to steer the negotiations?
Andrea my wife always tells me, says, why do you tell somebody when you're buying it what it'll bring? Well, here's my whole mindset. If I'm coming to buy something from you and you want to sell it, why would I buy it if I'm knowing I'm not going to use it? I'm buying it to resell. Why should I tell you, it ain't going to bring but $4,000 and I know it brings $6,000? I'm going to walk in and tell you, look, I'll give you $4,000 because I believe it'll bring $6,000. And I think I'm do that proper. I've got to haul it. I got to pay for it. I got to set on it. And
if it's no good, you got to answer the customer.
If it's no, I don't have to answer the customer. But if it's no good after I get it and find out, it's not going to bring as much. I have to protect myself. But most good business people, if you say, "Hey, I will buy that, but I'm going to make 20%," because you know what? If they're in business, they're going to want to make 20 or 30%. And a good businessman, you tell me if I've got something and you say, look, and say I got $100,000 in it, and you say, hey, I'll give you 105, I'm going to say, look, I got 100 in it, I want $115,000, $120,000. And it's worth that if you need it. We don't try to go over the board to make money on one person. I would rather have 100 satisfied customers than I have one pissed off customer.
So the transparency element is a very big thing for you.
It is if you're dealing with the right people. If you're dealing with underhanded scoundrels, no. I'm just the belief is if you tell a man the truth, and I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, you've told me this story.
It took me about 35 years to realize it's a hell of a lot easier to tell the truth, because I used to would climb a tree to tell you a lie than stand on the ground and tell you the truth, and it didn't work. If I would have done what I'm doing now since I've been about 35, I probably wouldn't be here fooling with a podcast or equipment. I could probably be retired.
You're never going to retire, Terry.
Oh, I'm ready.
As you're getting more deep into more and more businesses, but so transition to that, what advice would you give to somebody that's trying to put together a program, whether it's negotiating a package that they're trying to get rid of, or just in business overall in general?
Honesty, and I've said it 100 times. We contribute not a big portion of money, but we always give back to the counties. Like we just did a clay shoot for a church out there it's for kids. If you show me something for kids, I'm always want to be involved. But the thing is honesty and hard work is what makes business, and the people you surround yourself with. And I've done that. I've been through a lot of people, but our core group has been with me 10 years. And, I had some people come want to purchase machinery auctioneers. And I told them, I said, we got down to a number and everything, and I really wasn't wanting to sell if they came to me. And I said, you know what? I want $50,000 for every person that's been here 2 years or more, and I want $10,000 a year for each one of them that they've been here. And the guy looked at me and says, why in the heck would you do that? I said, mister, if it wasn't for this group of people, you wouldn't be talking to me. They helped build this. I didn't build this on my own. And, that's the thing about going out and putting a deal together or whatever. Once you put that deal together, you got to have the support to get it done, Like I've got guys out, Frank and Braxton and Ray. I mean, they go out 2 weeks at a time and don't see their family to get to where we have. And I mean, we went from $500,000 to $100 million, and it was because of that.
Yeah, obviously having good people is the key to just about every business, and having those people loyal to your companies to let them grow. Obviously, you've been involved with a bunch of different businesses, but you always kept coming back to machinery and auctioneer business and buying and selling of equipment, and that's probably why you're so good at the evaluation aspect of it. But let's share a little bit about some of the other stuff you've been involved with.
Well, we've always bought land and sold land, and now we've got I inherited a golf course, which we're building houses on the golf course, and we have 2 UTV stores. My partner, Mike Bird, and Miss Kay Height, which Lloyd Taus was my partner, and Mike and Miss Kay bought him out. And we did it not because me and Lloyd we had a great run together, but we had got to the point that we were so big that we couldn't handle the back end of it. And Miss Kay and Bobby Wolf, our CPA, has been really good to help us straighten a lot of stuff out and get us on the path that we need to go. And so that between the golf course, well, it's Machinery Auctioneers, Bravo Country Homes, the golf course, and Crown Power Sports. So if you need a UTV, give us a call. We can handle that too. But we got it in Abilene and Del Rio. So it's I do mainly help you guys do the marketing and think through that. Everybody says, why are you in this business, that business? We're not in any real business. We're in the marketing business and the market of treating people the way they should be treated.
Yeah. So obviously the marketing element is the centerpiece of just about any successful business. I think, do we have a caller on our line? Our first caller? All right. So you and I met in the racing business.
Yep.
And I tell everybody I've never worked so hard to make so little money than I did in the racing business.
If I'd have stayed out of the racing and bull business, I would have been racing rodeos. I'd been fine.
Yeah. So we do have a first caller calling.
Who is this? Lee Bishop. Oh my gosh. We talk about standing on the ground and telling the truth instead of crawling up in the tree. He stays in the tree.
So this has been a long-time customer of yours?
Lee's been with us probably 5 years.
Terry, come on now. It's been longer than that.
Lee Bishop from Atlanta, Georgia.
What's happening, Terry? How you doing?
I'm good. You go pick your kids up at school? He's a Mr.
Got
Mom.
Got them home. They needed a ride this afternoon. We got ball practice here.
Well, Doug's got questions for you, and me and you're going to answer them, I guess.
So,
all right. I got some questions for y'all here in a few minutes, too.
Go ahead, Lee. Go ahead with your questions.
Go ahead with your questions, he said.
So, one, do you see any late great trucks anywhere right now?
You won't believe this. We had a guy tell us this morning, Lee, that there was a spot open with Kenworth to, I guess, an allotment of 12 trucks. And the boy told us he thought they would be 200,000, and Trey told him, get them. And then I told Trey, I said, I bet we have to pay FET on them, which is what, 12%?
That's okay. Reason being, that's okay. And the only reason you got some Kenworth allotments. Funny you mentioned Kenworth. I wasn't talking to Kenworth earlier. I was talking to another real good dealer friend of mine. We've been discussing dump truck prices and discussing. I can't find late model trucks. I was telling him about those 20 Mountain Model Max last month.
Yep.
He's hunting trucks here right now. My new local dealer is asking me if I can find new trucks. He has 0 allocations for this year. Every allocation for 2023 is full. Mac has not released how many allocations they're going to have to give for 2024. They're not expected to get as many as they did in 23, most likely. And guess what? They don't know what they're going to cost. They can't tell me. He cannot tell me how much they're going up. They don't know.
Well, that's the whole thing. I talked to Russ McCullum over at Bruckner Mac, and I said, if I wanted to order, 4 or 5 trucks, when could I get them? He said, well, I'll have to look, but I think possibly the last quarter of 23. He said, but I think that's already filled up, so it'd be the first of 2024. But these,
I was told sorry to interrupt you, but I was told a few minutes ago that every manufacturer nationwide, Mack, Peterbilt, Kenworth, Volvo, Western Star, all manufacturers have every allocation full for 2023.
And the thing you said about they can't even really give you a price because they don't know what the demand for that emission control or the rear ends or the transmissions, everything, it backs up. And, it's, me and you both know supply and demand is what just drives the price, period. We were talking about eggs a while ago, supply and demand.
Man asked me today, and another boy asked me yesterday. I got 2 or 3 things advertised on my website. They said, where's your inventory at? We see stuff on the lot. Why is it not online? I said, boys, I can't get as much for it on the front line as I can get for it in the auction. And ain't nobody coming back and asking me nothing about it after they buy it. I mean, it'll bring more to sale than it'll bring on the front line.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing about what we're saying. And people that's got stuff setting, thinking they're going to get it ready, if you're not using it and you're not going to use it, there's no better time to do it. And I don't know when it's going to end. That's my thing. And we had a $13 million sale last month. We may have a $4 million this month because we can't find stuff.
Well, I was going over some other notes here while I was talking to my dealer, and they've got 24, 25 stores, and they're southeast. But the state of Alabama gets new dump trucks. You see all those new trucks go through the sales that they get down there. The state of Alabama wanted 250 Max this year in 2023. They got 100. They're expected to get 20. They're expected to get 25 of the 100 built the first half of this year. Is all they're expected to get, and is guaranteed to get the first half of the year. So they're hoping to get the 75 of the 100 the second half, but the manufacturers already know that they will not take delivery of the full 100 this year. They cannot give delivery of 100 trucks in 2023 when 250 was needed by the state.
Do you think this is going to affect the whole infrastructure bill with all these shovel-ready projects that are ready to go and build new bridges and roads and all that stuff because they won't be able to get the trucks and the equipment to do them?
I don't think it will. I think, Lee, it won't. They're just going to end up running their trucks further. You got to realize that the Woods auction down in Montgomery, Alabama has done the most amazing job of anybody I ever seen. They have got the dump truck market because of Alabama, and I don't know about Mississippi, but Alabama, and they turn them over every 2 years with so many miles. They'll have less than 100,000 miles on them, and they'll bring more than they brought new by far.
That's crazy.
Well, it was announced at the last auction that they knew they wouldn't have as many trucks at the next sale because the states weren't going to get them. So I really thought there was some daylight to the end of the tunnel. I thought I had a source and thought the new Max were going to be caught up. I was told since then, when I asked about ordering today, that they can't take my order until the supply chain catches up, and they have no idea when that's going to be. They said when they get their allocations for 2024, that they have to go through. They're going through their longest and most loyal customers first, and they may not be able to give me an allocation for 24 because they don't know how many they're going to get. So they could not tell me, and they foresee it being at least 24 more months before any break in that. I thought the pickup truck market was going to catch up a little bit. I had 8 brand new trucks ordered March of 22. They called me last week to take the delivery of the last truck that I ordered March of 22. I took delivery of my personal new Platinum pickup truck and went ahead and sold it because I got notification that our new Fords we ordered back in October were going to be built February. So I sold my new truck. No trucks coming. Got a new notification that my Fords have been pushed back to April and May of this year. Yeah. Have no idea when I'm going to get them.
The pickup market, you know how we saw a little Dieter in it and it fell off for 2 or 3 months.
Well, I should have bought every truck I found and held on to them because it's going to turn back the opposite direction here soon. You mark my word, there's no new trucks. Boy called me this morning and told me to find him a new Platinum pickup and he'd pay what it cost. He gave $96,000, $10,000 over sticker plus buyer's premium for the last one he bought.
That's amazing. I know Terry had been involved with some of that stuff with some high-end vehicles with like G-Wagons and Corvettes and stuff like that, where they were getting them. Yeah. They had ordered them, way in advance before the crisis had hit, and then
crazy
just selling them for 30, 40, 50,000 over sticker price.
Back to our heavy equipment deal. I'm the Lydale trailer dealer here in the Southeast, or in Georgia. I've had brand new trailers ordered since March of last year. I have not taken delivery of them yet.
It's all backed up. What you said you had a couple of questions for us. What you got?
Main thing was, when do you think we're ever going to get any new trucks, and do you see any available anywhere?
I don't. Other than those 12, and I'm going to get off the podcast and go call Trey and tell him to get them bought. But I just
buy any new ones you can find.
So they're going.
If people are interested,
be a shortage.
Where can they find you, Lee?
They can find me lebequip.com. But I'm telling you, there's no new inventory right now or no good used inventory. We're here based out of Jefferson, Georgia. We're happy to help anyone find anything they need, but we're truly looking every day and scavenging to find stuff.
If you're in the Southeast, me and Lee buy stuff together. I don't care if it's $150 or $100 million, we'll go find the money to get it. We'll buy.
Money's never a problem. We've never had a problem getting money. We have a problem getting inventory right now. It's just not arrogant, but it's just the truth. Anyone who can find good used equipment right now, anything Leighton grade, all the yellow iron, I see that stuff bringing through the roof. I was in Florida this last week watching some of the auctions down there. Items this year bringing $10,000 and $15,000 a piece more than they were bringing last year. They're a year model older and they're the same condition, same age they were then.
Well, Lee, we appreciate you calling in, and we appreciate your feedback on everything. So
thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you. Buddy.
Let me call. Hey, Terry, if you do run across anything, please let me know. My dealer's here looking everywhere.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
See you. Bye.
So obviously that goes right back to the whole supply and demand driving the market. And if you're out there in the universe, people watching, people listening, if you've got idled equipment just sitting there, you're paying insurance on it, you're paying payments on them, now has never been a better time to get rid of them. Give us a call, and the evaluator himself will let you know what it's worth.
We'll bring you a check, wire you the money.
So that wraps up episode number 2 of the Evaluator. We appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will be back again next week with episode number 3. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.